I welcome you back to another lecture on HVDC systems. In our last lecture, we discussed mode 1 with that is converter analysis with commutation overlap for mode 1, U less than 60 degrees. And in our last lecture, we drew the waveforms for load voltage as well as voltage across a value, that is value 3V3, for rectification mode of operation and for inversion mode of operation. And while analyzing the waveforms, we have seen that unlike two value conduction, that is U equal to 0 degree, where load voltage at any instant of time is always equal to line voltage segment. Sometimes it is EBA, sometimes EAC, sometimes EBC, and so on. In this mode 1, that is 2 and 3 value conduction, we get for U degree, our load voltage is not equal to line voltage segment. It is minus 1.5 times phase voltage segment or plus 1.5 times some phase voltage segment. And for rest of the interval, that is 60 minus U degrees, the load voltage is equal to line voltage segment. So during these commutation overlap periods, there is a dip in the voltage from line to 1.5 times phase voltage. Now, therefore, the mathematical equation for average output voltage will not remain same as we have derived in the while we were discussing converter analysis without commutation overlap. You remember when we were discussing converter analysis without commutation overlap, and we have found that for 3-phase 6-pulse converter, average output voltage is 3√3 Em by pi cos alpha. It does not take care of commutation overlap and dip in the voltage because of commutation overlap. So therefore, this mathematical equation for or mathematical expression for converter average output voltage will get modified. Somewhere in the equation, we have to include commutation overlap angle, and hence the effect of this commutation overlap, that is the dip in the voltage, so that the drop in the voltage or loss of output voltage is taken care of in the mathematical form also, in terms of mathematical equation. So today we will start our lecture with derivation of mathematical expression for converter average output voltage. So expression for average output voltage with commutation overlap for mode 1. So we are discussing mode 1, that is U less than 60 degrees, which gives 2 and 3 value conduction. Let us draw the power circuit diagram of 6-pulse converter first, and then we will go for the derivation of mathematical expression for average output voltage or average load voltage. So this is the power circuit diagram of our 3-phase 6-pulse converter. Let me complete the power circuit diagram first. So this is value 1, value 3, value 5. This is 2, 4, and 6. So this is phase voltage EA. This is inductance L. Source inductance, this is line current IA. Similarly, this is phase voltage EB, and this is phase voltage EC, and this is our neutral point, supply neutral. So on this side, we have a large heavy inductance connected in series with the load. So this is our load. Load current is constant and ripple free, it is ID. And load voltage is VD. This is positive bus, this is negative bus. Fine. Now let us assume that at alpha, that is after a delay of alpha, value 3 is fired. So previously values 1 and 2 were conducting, and value 3 is fired. So we will then when value 3 is fired, commutation between 1 and 3 will start during U degrees, where U is overlap angle. So during overlap angle, there will be transfer of current from outgoing value 1 to incoming value 3. So commutation between 1 and 3 starts. So therefore it gives us 3 value conduction 1, 2, 3 during U. And once the commutation between 1 and 3 is over, okay, so after U degrees, what will happen? 1 will be out. and all the current is transferred to 3. So that means 3 value conduction will be followed by 2 value conduction, 2, 3. So therefore, as far as output voltage is concerned, see, this is omega t axis. I will show you the output voltage. Output voltage will be like this. So this is the instant when 3 valves are conducting. So 1, 2, 3, 3 valve conduction. And this is the instant when 2 valves, that is 2, 3 are conducting. So this is your alpha, okay? And what is this time period? This time period is U, because during this time period, commutation between 1 and 3 takes place. This is overlap angle. So that means if this instant is alpha, what will be this instant? This will be alpha plus U, because total instant is alpha plus U minus alpha, that is U. So what is this voltage? We know that when 1, 2, 3 valves are conducting, we have seen in the last lecture also, the load voltage Vd is equal to minus 3 by 2 EC. From alpha to alpha plus U. That means our value 3 is fired at alpha and 1, 2, 3 valves conduct there. So there is 3 valve conduction. And what is load voltage? Load voltage is minus 3 by 2 EC. I am showing here also. So there is a dip in the voltage from line voltage segment to this 1.5 times or minus 3 by 2 times phase voltage EC. So there is a loss of voltage, there is a dip in voltage. And this commutation is over a period, this overlap angle is U degree. So value 3 starts, value 3 is fired here. So commutation starts from alpha and it ends at alpha plus U. So at the end of commutation overlap, okay, commutation is over, then our 3 value conduction will be followed by 2 value conduction, 2, 3. So when 2 and 3 are conducting, see 3 is conducting, so that means positive bus voltage is EB, and 2 is conducting, that means negative bus voltage is EA. So our, EC, negative bus voltage is EC. So our load voltage is EBC. EBC. And what is this interval? This is 60 minus U degrees. And the end of this is alpha plus pi by 3. Because this total segment is 60 degrees. In this total 60 degree interval, 3 value conduction is there for U degrees and 2 value conduction is for 60 minus U degrees. That means you are firing value 3 at alpha. So value 3 you are firing at alpha for U, that is alpha to alpha plus U. There is 3 value conduction, 1, 2, 3 are conducting, and your load voltage is minus 3 by 2 EC. And for rest of the period, that is 60 minus U degrees, that means from alpha plus U to alpha plus pi by 3, your output voltage is equal to line segment voltage, line segment EBC. Okay, so I will write here load voltage is EBC for rest of the period, that is for alpha plus U to alpha plus 60 degrees pi by 3. So we are starting firing of value here at alpha. So this is our 60 degree interval. So if this is alpha plus pi by 3. So pi by 3 means 60 degrees. Alpha to alpha plus 60 degrees. This is total time interval. And out of this, for U degrees, that is from alpha to alpha plus U, there is 3 value conduction and load voltage is minus 3 by 2 EC. I have written from alpha to alpha plus U. And for rest of the period, that's from alpha plus U to alpha plus pi by 3. Our output voltage is EBC, that is alpha plus U to alpha plus pi by 3. Our output voltage is EBC. That is line voltage segment EBC. So for 2 value conduction, if you see for 2 value conduction, for example, if U was not considered, that's U was equal to 0, there was no commutation overlap, our output voltage would have been like this. It would have been EBC all throughout, EBC from alpha to alpha plus pi by 3. That is for 2 value conduction with U equal to 0 degree. But with commutation overlap, that is mode 1, U less than 60 degree. We don't have, our load voltage is not equal to line voltage segment throughout the 60 degree interval. For U, that is from alpha to alpha plus U, it is minus 3 by 2 EC, and from alpha plus U to alpha plus pi by 3, it is EBC. Fine. So with this in mind, we can now derive the mathematical expression for converter average output voltage. So I will write here average. So therefore, average output voltage is given by capital VD is equal to 1 by pi by 3. The time period I am taking pi by 3, 60 degree, because the interval is 60 degree. Each interval is 60 degree. So the time period is 1 by pi by 3 multiplied by integral alpha to alpha plus u. Integral alpha to alpha plus u. Right. It is minus 3 by 2 EC d omega t. Because just now we have seen that from alpha to alpha plus u, that means during the commutation overlap, during this angle u, there is 3 value conduction. 1, 2, 3 valves are conducting, and our load voltage is equal to minus 1.5 times EC, phase voltage. That's minus 3 by 2 EC. Plus, once the commutation overlap is over, now from alpha plus u to alpha plus pi by 3, there will be 2 value conduction. So 1, 2, 3 will be followed by 2, 3. And when 2 and 3 are conducting, my load voltage becomes line voltage segment EBC d omega t. That's it. Now I have to write the mathematical expression for EC, and I have also to write mathematical expression for EBC. For that purpose, you go back to that phasor diagram which we have drawn in one of the earlier classes. This is EA, phase voltage EA. This is phase voltage EB, and this is phase voltage EC. This is phase voltage EC. And you already know what is this voltage. This is EAB. And opposite of this is EBA. EBA is commutation voltage of value 3, and we take this EBA as reference. And all the phasors are rotating in the counterclockwise direction like this. Okay. Now what is this voltage phasor? This voltage phasor, you already know it is ECA. And what is this voltage phasor? This voltage phasor, this is EB, this is EC. So this voltage phasor is EBC. So you can extend this EBC. So this is your EBC. And this angle between line, this EBA and EBC, we already know that this angle is 60 degrees, that's pi by 3. And this angle is 90 degrees. Now, with this phasor diagram drawn here, I can write the mathematical expression for phase voltage EC and mathematical expression for line voltage EBC. So what is this EBC? Let me write first of all EBC. EBC is this voltage phasor. This EBC is, we know, line voltage is root 3 times root 3 Em sin omega t. So it is root 3 Em sin of omega t plus pi by 3. Because this phasor EBA is reference phasor, and this EBA, we already know EBA is reference phasor. It is root 3 Em sin omega t. It's reference phasor. And this is my EBC. Now EBC, all the phasors are rotating counterclockwise in the counterclockwise direction. So you can see EBC leads EBA by pi by 3. So that's why I have written EBC is equal to root 3 Em sin of omega t plus pi by 3. So I have got the expression for EBC. What about EC, phase voltage? This is my EC. Now you can see here, this is your EBA. If I draw it separately, this is EBA phasor, and this is your EC phasor, and this is your EC phasor, and this is your the phasors are moving counterclockwise direction. So that means EBA leads EC by 90 degrees, or in other words, phase voltage EC lags behind EBA by 90 degrees. So therefore, EC can be written as EM. EC is phase voltage, so I will not multiply by root 3. For line voltages, you have to multiply by root 3, because line voltage is root 3 times phase voltage. But for phase voltage, you have to write EC equal to EM. Root 3 will not be there. So EC is equal to EM sin of omega t minus pi by 2. Pi by 2 means 90 degrees, because EC phasor lags behind this reference phasor EBA by 90 degrees, pi by 2. So therefore, EC, phase voltage EC, is equal to Em sin of omega t minus pi by 2. And that is equal to minus Em cos omega t. So therefore, I got the mathematical expression for EC. It is minus Em cos omega t, and EBC is root 3 Em sin of omega t plus pi by 3. I will substitute these here and I will start integrating. So therefore, my average output voltage or average load voltage VD is equal to, see, this is 1 by pi by 3. So 3 will go up. So it is 3 by pi times integration from alpha to alpha plus u minus 3 by 2 EC. What is EC? I have already got equation for EC. It is minus Em cos omega t. So within bracket, I will write minus Em cos omega t d omega t. Okay, this is first integral, and second integral is this, plus integration from alpha plus u to alpha plus, this is alpha plus u to alpha plus pi by 3. Alpha plus u to alpha plus pi by 3. EBC d omega t. What is EBC? I have already got equation for EBC. Root 3 Em sine omega t plus pi by 3. So this is root 3 Em sine of omega t plus pi by 3 d omega t. Well, let us calculate these. Let us solve these integrals. So I can write here VD is equal to 3 by pi times I can take, see, this is minus 3 by 2, minus into minus is plus, so 3 by 2 I can take out. So this is 3 by 2. What I get inside is alpha to alpha plus u. You get cos omega, Em also, see, I have Em here, I have Em here also. So I can take Em also out. So I will write 3 Em by pi. So 3 by 2 also I have taken out, Em already taken out. So what I am left with is cos omega t, cosine omega t d omega t. This is first integral. Plus my second integral is, it has Em is already taken out. Root 3 I will take out from second integral. Root 3, and integration is from alpha plus u to alpha plus pi by 3. Alpha plus u to alpha plus pi by 3. Sine of omega t plus pi by 3. Sine of omega t plus pi by 3 d omega t. Okay, this is it. So I can simplify it. I can write it 3 Em by pi times 3 by 2 integration of cos omega t is sine omega t, and the limits are alpha to alpha plus u, plus root 3 times integration of sine of omega t plus pi by 3 is minus cos of omega t plus pi by 3. Integration is from alpha plus u to alpha plus pi by 3. Close. So further simplification gives this will be equal to 3 Em by pi times 3 by 2 into, this is sine omega t. So substitute alpha plus u for omega t. So this will be sine of alpha plus u. Sine of alpha plus u minus sine omega t. So now you substitute lower limit alpha. So this will be minus sine alpha. So this is first integral. Now second integral is plus root 3 times. So this is minus cos of omega t plus pi by 3. So omega t is alpha plus pi by 3. So this is minus cos of alpha plus pi by 3 plus pi by 3. Then minus minus plus cos of omega t here is alpha plus u. It is alpha plus u plus pi by 3. So this is second integral. Close. So this is further equal to 3 Em by pi times, now I can multiply 3 by 2, I can multiply both terms with 3 by 2. So first term will be 3 by 2 into sine of alpha plus u, minus second term will be 3 by 2 into sine alpha. Okay, so that is this. Now plus, now this is root 3. So I can take this minus out. So this is minus root 3 times, what I get inside is cos of alpha plus pi by 3 plus pi by 3 is 2 pi by 3 plus, so this will be minus because I have taken minus out. Cos of alpha plus u plus pi by 3. Okay, fine. Now I can further simplify it. So this is cos of alpha plus 2 pi by 3. So this is a, this is b. So this is cos of a plus b. Similarly, this is cos of alpha plus u plus pi by 3. So you can take this as a and this as b. Here you can take this as a and this as b. And we know the trigonometric identity cos of a plus b. Cos of a plus b is equal to cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. So substituting this, using this trigonometric identity for these two terms, we get like this. So therefore, we get VD is equal to 3 by pi into 3 by 2 into sine of alpha plus u minus 3 by 2 sine alpha. So this is minus root 3 times. This is cos of a plus b, that is cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. Cos a is cos alpha into cos b is cos 2 pi by 3 minus sin a sin b, sin alpha into sin 2 pi by 3. This is first term, this, okay. And then we have minus, this is cos a, cos of a plus b. So this is cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. Cos a is alpha plus u and cos b is cos pi by 3. Minus sin a sin b, so this is already minus, minus into minus becomes plus, plus sin alpha plus u into sin pi by 3. That's it. Right? Okay. So this further can be simplified as 3 by pi into 3 by 2 sine of alpha plus u minus 3 by 2 sine alpha minus. Now what is cos 2 pi by 3? Let me, I have already calculated it. Cos 2 pi by 3 is, okay, cos 2 pi by, cos it is root 3 cos pi by 3, yes, minus 1 by 2. Cos 2 pi by 3 is minus 1 by, this cos of 2 pi by 3 is minus 1 by 2. So this is minus 1 minute, this is minus root 3 times minus 1 by 2 cos alpha, okay, minus what is sine 2 pi by 3? Sine 2 pi by 3 is, yes, sine 2 pi by 3 is root 3 by 2. Sine 2 pi by 3 means sine 120 degrees. It is root 3 by 2 sine alpha, okay, minus what is cos pi by 3? Cos pi by 3 is 1 by 2. This cos pi by 3 is 1 by 2 into cos of alpha plus u and plus what is sine pi by 3? Sine 60 degrees. Sine 60 degrees is root 3 by 2. It is root 3 by 2. Minus root 3 by 2. So this is minus sine pi by 3 and sine plus alpha. 1 minute, please. So it is root 3 by 2. It is root 3 by 2. So it is plus root 3 by 2 sine of alpha plus u. That's it. close. So therefore this is equal to 3 em by pi times 3 by 2 into sine of alpha plus u minus 3 by 2 into sine alpha. Now you multiply this by root 3. Minus into minus becomes plus. This will be plus root 3 by 2 cos alpha. So minus into minus is again plus root 3 into root 3 is 3. So this is 3 by 2 sine alpha. Fine. So minus into minus is again plus root 3 by 2 cos of alpha plus u. So this is root 3 into 1 by 2 is root 3 by 2 cos of alpha plus u. Minus plus is minus. What is root 3 into root 3? That is 3. So that is 3 by 2 sine of alpha plus u. That's it. Now this is 3 by 2 sine of alpha plus u. This is minus 3 by 2 sine of alpha plus u. So these two terms cancel. Similarly, this is minus 3 by 2 sine alpha. This is plus 3 by 2 sine alpha. These two terms also cancel. So therefore we get average output voltage equal to 3 em by pi. Inside what we get? We get first this term root 3 by 2 cos alpha plus root 3 by 2 cos of alpha plus u. So this can be further simplified as so therefore converter average output voltage VD is equal to root 3 I can take out. So this is 3 root 3 em by 2 also I can take out by 2 pi. What is inside is cos alpha plus cos alpha plus u. That's it. This is the final expression, mathematical expression for converter average output voltage. Compare it with average output voltage without commutation overlap. So for u equal to 0 degree, that's without commutation overlap, our average output voltage of converter is 3 root 3 em by pi cos alpha. But with commutation overlap in mode 1, u less than 60 degrees, with commutation overlap, having an overlap angle of u degrees, our average output voltage is not this. It gets modified to ED is equal to 3 root 3 em by 2 pi times cos alpha plus u. Fine. So therefore this u term is there. So therefore when you add these two terms, I mean for a particular value of alpha, you will see the average output voltage as given by this equation will be always less than average output voltage given by this equation. For example, you can take alpha equal to 10 degrees, you can take alpha equal to 20 degrees, alpha equal to 120 degrees, alpha equal to 90 degrees, alpha equal to 70 degrees, 80 degrees. For any value of alpha, if you know em, you know alpha, for any value of alpha, you substitute, and average output voltage produced by this equation will be less than that produced by this equation. This is because of the inclusion of commutation overlap angle u. So this u always tends to produce a decreased average output voltage, and that is true also, because for two value conduction with u equal to 0 degree, we know that our load voltage is always equal to line voltage segments. But with commutation overlap, our load voltage is either 1 point or minus 1.5 times phase voltage and then line voltage. Then again 1.5 times phase voltage and line voltage. So that means during overlap angle u, there is always a loss of voltage, drop of voltage from line voltage to 1.5 times phase voltage. And that is taken care mathematically in the equation by this term u. So you can see that for u equal to 0, I mean if there is no commutation overlap angle, so you substitute u equal to 0 here. So this is cos alpha plus cos alpha, that is 2 cos alpha. So therefore your VD will be equal to 3 root 3 em by 2 pi into 2 cos alpha. Now this 2 and 2 goes, so this will be 3 root 3 em by pi cos alpha. This is same as this. So that means this equation is correct, because for u equal to 0 it gives me this. So therefore I can also write this VD as VD naught by 2 times cos alpha plus cos of alpha plus u. Where what is this? So this is another way of writing average output voltage, where VD naught is converter maximum average output voltage with so this is 3 root 3 EM by pi. This is VD naught. So 3 root 3 EM by 3 root 3 EM by pi I have written as VD naught. So VD naught by 2 times cos alpha plus cos alpha plus 2. So this gives us mathematical expression, or this is the mathematical expression for converter average output voltage. I repeat, for a given value of alpha, for same input voltage and for same given value of alpha, the converter produces slightly less average output voltage than without commutation overlap. Because of this U, commutation overlap, because we know that during commutation overlap angles, the average output voltage, the output voltage always drops from line voltage segment to 1.5 times some phase voltage. So there is loss of voltage. That's it. So this is the mathematical expression for converter average output voltage for commutation overlap, with commutation overlap for mode 1, U less than 60 degrees. Next, let us now I will discuss something about valve currents. Let us again take 1, 2, 3. Let us suppose valve 3 is fired at alpha, and previously 1, 2 pair was conducting, and now 1, 2, 3 valves will conduct. 1, 2, 3. During 1, 2, 3 conduction, equivalent circuit we can draw. This is 1, this is 3, and this is 2. And we have already drawn it yesterday in yesterday's lecture. So this is EA, this is IA, this is source inductance L, this is valve 1 with current I1, this is neutral, this is phase voltage EB, line current IB, source inductance is same as I. This is valve 3 and valve current is I3. Okay, this is the inductance in series with load, and this is load current ID. And this is our load. Return path is through 2, valve 2, and valve current is I2. This is the source inductance L, this is line current IC, and this is phase voltage EC. 1 and 3 in the upper group of valves are conducting. So this is EAL1 and EBL3. EAL1, EBL3, and then they are in common cathode configuration. It's common cathode configuration. Then I1 plus I3 is equal to load current. So these two valves, when they are conducting, the sum of the two currents is equal to load current. So it's connected to load. And return path is provided through 2. Yes. Now we know that when 1, 2, 3 conduction takes place, this is our omega t axis. Something we show it like this. This is valve 1, this is ID, load current ID before commutation, and after commutation also it is ID. This is your commutation overlap angle, U degree. Valve 3 is fired here, and during this period 1, 2, 3 valves are conducting. There is commutation between valve 1 and 3. So before commutation, valve 1 is conducting, I1 is equal to ID. During commutation, both valves 1 as well as 3, you can see 1 as well as 3 are conducting. So I1 plus I3 is equal to ID. And after commutation, when commutation is over, 1 is out, 3 is in. So I3 is equal to ID. This we already know, we have already discussed it on a number of occasions previously. Now if this is my loop, if in this loop I apply KVL, so I will write here by KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law, EA minus L di1 by dt is equal to EB minus L di3 by dt. This voltage is equal to this voltage because the two branches are parallel. What is this voltage? Voltage across this branch. It is EA minus inductive voltage, EA minus L di1 by dt. And what is voltage across this branch? It is EB minus this inductive voltage, EB minus L di3 by dt. So therefore this voltage across this branch is same as voltage across this branch because these branches are connected in parallel. So EA minus L di 1 by dt is equal to EB minus L di 3 by dt. That's what I have written here. EA minus L di 1 by dt is equal to EB minus L di 3 by dt. From this, if I take this L di 3 by dt on left hand side, so it becomes plus. So L di 3 by dt is equal to, then this is already there, minus L di 1 by dt is equal to EB, this EA shifts to this side, minus EA. So this becomes EB minus EA. What is EB minus EA? It is line voltage EBA. And what is our line voltage? This EBA is voltage, commutation voltage of value 3, and we take this commutation voltage of value 3 as the reference phasor. And its expression is EBA is root 3 EM sine omega t, because it is a reference phasor. EBA is reference. So it is root 3 EM sine omega t. So therefore, let us call this equation as equation 1. We also know I1 plus I3 is equal to ID. I1 is conducting, value 1 is conducting, 3 is also conducting during commutation overlap. And the sum of two value currents or two phase currents, I1 plus I3, is equal to load current ID. You can see I1 plus I3 is equal to ID. So if I differentiate this, so di1 by dt plus di3 by dt, what is differentiation of ID? It's a constant term, and differentiation of constant term is 0. So this gives me di1 by dt equal to minus di3 by dt. So I can substitute in place of di1 by dt, this di1 by dt is minus di3 by dt in equation 1. So therefore, what I get from equation 1, let us see. So therefore, from equation 1, what we get is, this is my equation 1, L di3 by dt minus L di1 by dt. Minus L di, what is di1 by dt? It is minus di3 by dt, and minus becomes plus. So this becomes plus di3 by dt is equal to EBA, and EBA is root 3 EM sine omega t. So L di3 by dt plus L di3 by dt is 2L di3 by dt. It is equal to root 3 EM sine omega t. So from this I will get di3 by dt is equal to root 3 by 2L, root 3 EM by 2L sine omega t. So if I integrate this di3, it will be root 3 EM by 2L into integration of sine omega t with respect to t dt. Let me find out this integral. So therefore, integration of di3 is current I3, value current I3 itself, and this I3 is equal to root 3 EM by, what is integration of sine omega t with respect to dt? It is minus cos omega t by omega. So that omega I take here. This integration will be minus cos omega t, okay, plus a, where a is constant of integration. Let us call this equation as equation 2. Now we have to find this constant of integration. So I can write that at alpha. So at alpha, value 3 is fired. Before alpha, value 3 was not fired. So at alpha, we can write value current I3 is equal to 0, because value 3 is just fired. So I3 is equal to 0. So substituting here, so therefore, what is I3? I3 at alpha is 0. So 0 is equal to, this is minus root 3 EM by 2 omega L cos omega t, cos omega t. What is omega t? So I can write at omega t equal to alpha. I3 is equal to 0. So omega t is equal to alpha. So it is cos alpha plus A. So this will give me A. So A is equal to plus root 3 EM by 2 omega L cos alpha. So substituting the value of A in equation 2. So therefore from equation 2, what do I get? I will write here, therefore from equation 2. I get the mathematical expression for I3, value current of value 3, that is I3 equal to, first term is this is minus root 3 Em by 2 omega L cos omega t plus A, and A we have already calculated. A is root 3 Em by 2 omega L cos alpha, root 3 Em by 2 omega L cos alpha. So this can be further simplified as value current I3 is equal to, I can take root 3 Em by 2 omega L out. What I get inside is cos alpha minus cos omega t. So this is mathematical expression for current flowing in value 3 during commutation overlap. Remember, this is the expression during commutation, because the equivalent circuit that we have drawn previously, just few moments back, that equivalent circuit holds during commutation overlap period only. And from that equivalent circuit, I applied Kirchhoff's voltage law in that closed loop, and I got this equation. So this is the mathematical expression for current flowing in value 3. But I repeat, this is the mathematical expression for value 3 current, I3, during commutation overlap. Before commutation overlap, what is this I3 0? I will write here. Before commutation, I mean when commutation has not started, I3 is equal to 0. Value 3 is yet to be fired. It has not been fired. And after commutation, I mean when commutation between 1 and 3 is over, 1 is out, 3 is completely in. So 3 takes the charge of load current. I3 is equal to ID. So before commutation, value current I3 is 0. After commutation, value 3 current I3 is ID. But during commutation, the value current is given by this equation. I3 is equal to root 3 Em by 2 omega L times cos alpha minus cos omega t. Remember it. It's a very important equation. So I can also write this value current I3 as I3 is equal to IS3 times cos alpha minus cos omega t. Where, what is this IS3? It is a constant term. IS3 is this root 3 Em by 2 omega L. So this is my value current I3. So therefore I know what is my value current I3 during commutation. Commutation is taking place between 1 and 3. During commutation, this is the mathematical expression for current through value 3, that is I3. What will be current through value 1 during commutation overlap? So as we know, I1, sum of the two value currents, I1 plus I3 is equal to ID. So this will give me I1. Therefore, I1 is equal to ID minus I3. That is equal to ID minus I3. What is I3? I have already calculated it. This is IS3 times cos alpha minus cos omega t. This is I1. So I can write I1 is equal to ID minus IS3 cos alpha plus IS3 cos omega t. So this gives mathematical expression for current through value 1, that is I1 during commutation overlap. Now I know what is the mathematical expression for current through value 1, that is this during commutation overlap. And I also know what is the mathematical expression for current through value 3, that's I3 during commutation overlap. I can now plot these. So let me first write it again. Value 3 current. Excuse me, I will change the pen. So mathematical expression for value 3 current, I3 is equal to IS3 times cos alpha minus cos omega t, cos alpha minus cos omega t. And mathematical expression for value 1 current, I1 is equal to ID minus IS3 cos alpha plus IS3 cos omega t. These are the expressions for value currents through values 1 and 3 during commutation overlap. We cannot plot these currents. So therefore, when you start plotting these currents, this is your omega t axis, 0. Now let me plot current through value 3 first, that is I3. Now this I3 is IS3 cos times cos alpha minus cos omega t. So let us suppose this cos alpha term is not there. If my I3 would have been, for the time being, let me write I3 would have been minus IS3 cos omega t. If this would have been my I3, then this equation clearly tells that my value current is negative cosine wave. That means if this is your omega t axis, negative cosine wave means it is like this. Cosine wave, but negative cosine wave. You can see negative cosine wave. But actually my value current is IS3 cos alpha minus, so it is IS3 cos alpha cos omega t is already there. So see, this is I3 is equal to IS3 cos alpha minus IS3 cos omega t. So it clearly tells me that it is a negative cosine wave, but its axis is shifted. So alpha is fixed, IS3 is fixed because these are both constants. For a given value of alpha, this IS3 is positive. That means I3 will not have this omega t axis. Its axis is shifted by IS3 cos alpha. See, in absence of this, my I3 would have been minus IS3 cos omega t, and this would have been my I3 current, negative cosine wave. But my actual current is not minus IS3 cos omega t. It is IS3 cos alpha minus IS3 cos omega t. What is this first term? It is a constant term, positive constant term. That means my value 3 current is still negative cosine wave, but its axis is not omega t axis. Its axis is shifted upwards positively by this much. So I can show it like this. So this is the, I will write here, this is axis for current I3. Its axis is not omega t. Its axis is shifted by this constant. And this is the constant IS3 cos alpha. Its axis is shifted up. So therefore, I cannot plot this minus cosine wave. I cannot plot it. So it will start from here, for example. So therefore, this is my I3. This is I3. You can see it's negative cosine wave, but its axis is not omega t. Its axis, this is its axis. I have written axis for I3. No doubt it passes through this, but this is its axis. So this is my I3. Fine. What is my I1? I1 is ID minus IS3 cos alpha plus IS3 cos omega t. So you can see the axis of I1. But I1 is also cosine wave, but it is a positive cosine wave. I mean, positive cosine wave means like this. But its axis is shifted downwards. So you can see its axis is shifted downwards by ID minus IS3 cos alpha. So this is its axis. I can show it like this. Here I will write axis for I1, value current I1. And therefore value current I1 flows like this. goes down like this. Let me draw it first. This is your I1. It is, you can see I1 is positive cosine wave. See, it is positive cosine wave, but its axis is shifted downwards. This is axis for I1. So this is my I1. Like this. Now let me call this point as point A. I will write it here at A. Now at A, this is my this is my waveform for I3. What is I3 at A? I3 is equal to 0. So therefore, if I take this expression, therefore I3 is equal to IS3 times cos alpha minus cos omega t. So at A, this point, I3 is 0. So therefore, I will substitute 0 here. 0 is equal to IS3 times cos alpha minus cos omega t. This will give me, I can write here, this will give me IS3. IS3 is gone. This will give me cos alpha is minus cos omega t is equal to 0. So this will give me cos omega t is equal to cos alpha, which means omega t is equal to alpha. So that means at A, what is omega t? This is omega t. Omega t is equal to alpha. That means this angle is alpha. This angle is alpha. Alpha means value 3 is fired here. We already know value 3 is fired after a delay of alpha electrical degrees. And mathematically we have proven that A is the point where value 3 is fired. Because at A, omega t is equal to alpha. So I have shown alpha. And since this is alpha delay angle, so 3 is fired here. So when 3 is fired here, value 3 current starts rising. And then this may be your commutation overlap period. This may be your commutation. This is your commutation overlap period, U. And during this U, current in value 3 rises. You can see it rises. It rises like this. And current in value 1, this is value 1, it falls. And once this commutation overlap period is over, this I3 becomes equal to ID. And before this commutation overlap, I3 was 0. So what was the current before commutation overlap? I1. This is I1. I1 was flowing. And I1 before commutation overlap was equal to ID. So therefore, you can see this is the waveform for I1 and this is the waveform for I3 as per these two equations. But I again repeat, the waveform for I3 shows that it is a cosine wave or it is a sine wave. Similarly, the waveform for I1 also shows that it is a sine wave. But are value currents sine waves or cosine waves? Answer is no. They are DC currents. When value 1 is conducting, it all conducts only from anode to cathode. So it conducts only positive current. It cannot conduct from cathode to anode. So there is no question of negative current in both the cases. This is the complete waveform. If you draw these two equations over, you draw it before commutation and after commutation also. So you will get waveform for I3 with negative half cycle and positive half cycle as negative cosine wave. Similarly, if you draw I1, you get it as a positive cosine wave like this with positive half cycle and negative half cycle. But I repeat, the mathematical expressions, these two expressions for value currents I1 and I3 which we have obtained these currents only during commutation overlap period when 1, 2, 3 valves are conducting. When 3 is fired, 1, 2, 3, there is 3 value conduction, and during that 3 value conduction we have drawn that equivalent circuit, we have applied KVL, and after applying KVL we got these two equations. One equation is for value current I1, and another equation is for value current I3. These equations are valid only during commutation overlap period, that is during 3 value conduction. And this is your commutation overlap period U. So therefore these equations are valid only during these waveforms are also valid only during this commutation overlap period. That's why you can see this is I1. This is the I1 when value 3 is fired here. Previously, what was I1? I1 was equal to ID. It was not sine wave. And when value 3 is fired, there is transfer of current or commutation of current takes place from value 1 to value 3. And current through value 1 starts decreasing, and current through value 3 starts increasing. You can see value 1 current starts decreasing and value 3 current starts increasing. And once the commutation overlap is over, U is over, that is, commutation is over, value 1 current has become 0. And value 3 current will not go, it will not follow this sinusoidal pattern. It will be equal to plus ID. Commutation is over. And when value 1 current is 0, I mean when value 1 has transferred all the current to value 3, what is value 1 current after that? Value 1 current is 0, not this. Okay? So therefore, these waveforms, as per this waveform for I3 and this waveform for I1, which we have obtained from these equations, these waveforms are valid only during this U period. Before U, what is I1? I1 is ID. This is your I1 before U. And what is I3 before U? It is 0. After U, what is I1? I1 is 0 and I3 is equal to ID. And during U, both are present, I1 as well as I3, and they follow these waveforms. So therefore, concluding, we can show these value currents like this. This is your omega t axis. Let us suppose value 3 is fired here, and it gives 3 value conduction. So this is value 1 current, and this will be value 3 current. And this is your commutation overlap period, overlap angle UDV. And during this period, 1, 2, 3 values are conducting. So before commutation, that is before U, what is I1? I1 is equal to ID. You can see it is equal to ID. And what is I3? I3 is equal to 0. After commutation, when commutation is complete, value 1 has completely transferred whole current to value 3. So value 3 current, I3 will be equal to ID. You can see it is equal to ID. And value 1 current is 0 because it has transferred all the current. And during commutation overlap, U, both currents are present. I1 is present, it is decreasing, and I3 is also present, it is increasing. And which pattern? Previously I had shown them as straight lines like this, but they don't follow the straight line, they follow the sinusoidal pattern. You can see it is sort of curvy waveforms. It's sinusoidally increasing. Current in value 3 is sinusoidally increasing, and current in value 1 is sinusoidally decreasing, because during commutation overlap they follow these waveforms. And what are these waveforms? They are sine waveforms or cosine waveforms. So therefore, these waveforms are valid only during commutation overlap, and these are the value currents I1 and I3 during commutation overlap. So when value 3 is fired here and 3 value conduction takes place, there is commutation of current from value 1 to value 3. Current in value 1 sinusoidally decreases, and current in value 3 sinusoidally increases, and they follow these sine waves, this pattern. And at the end of commutation overlap, I1 has completely transferred current to 3, so I1 is 0 and I3 is equal to ID. So that was about value currents and their pattern. Now finally, we will try to obtain electrical equivalent circuits for HVDC converters working as rectifiers as well as working as inverters. See, whenever you are taught any subject in electrical engineering, whether it is electrical machines, say it may be a transformer, it may be an induction machine, it may be a synchronous machine or a DC machine. How do you analyze a DC machine? How do you analyze an induction machine or a synchronous machine or a transformer? You analyze only when you have electrical equivalent circuit of that particular machine. Similarly, you have a power system, you draw the equivalent circuit of power system and you analyze it. Without analysis, without electrical equivalent circuits, it's not possible for us to analyze the circuit. Electrical equivalent circuit helps us in developing the modeling equations of various machines like transformers, DC machines, AC machines, or power systems. And using those modeling equations, we can then analyze and evaluate the performance of a particular machine. So it is very important to obtain electrical equivalent circuit of any machine or any electrical system you are dealing with. Similarly here, our HVDC system comprises of 2 converters. So this is converter working as rectifier, and this is another converter here on the other side working as inverter. Okay, this is your rectifier and this is your inverter. So this is the converter on this side is placed at converting station and it works as a rectifier. So this is your rectifier at a rectifying station, and the converter on the other side works as an inverter at other converting station or inverting station. You have inverter. Now let us try to obtain electrical equivalent circuits of these rectifier, of the converter working as a rectifier or working as inverter. And once we know the electrical equivalent circuit of this converter working as a rectifier and of this converter working as an inverter, we can get the complete electrical equivalent circuit of complete HVDC system, and that will help us in developing some very important equations, and using those equations we can control HVDC transmission system. So therefore our next topic is electrical equivalent circuit. Electrical equivalent. We will try to develop electrical equivalent circuit. First of all, we will develop the electrical equivalent circuit of a rectifier. Now we know that just few moments back we have derived the mathematical expression for converter average output voltage when it is working in mode 1 with commutation overlap. Mode 1 means U less than 60 degrees. So I will write here, we know converter average output voltage VD is equal to VD naught by 2 times cos alpha plus cos alpha plus U. Just few moments back we obtained this mathematical expression. Okay. Let me call this equation as equation 1. Again, just a few moments back, we have also derived the mathematical expression for value 3 current. Value 3 current, you know, a few moments back, we got this equation. I3 is equal to IS3 times cos alpha minus cos omega t. Is it cos alpha minus cos omega t or cos omega t minus cos alpha? It is cos alpha minus cos omega t, right? Equation is correct. Now this equation is there during commutation overlap. This is for 1, 2, 3 conduction, 3 valve conduction, 1, 2, 3 conduction, when 3 valves are conducting. I mean at alpha, valve 3 is fired and commutation between 1 and 3 has taken place. It has started and this gives 3 valve conduction, 1, 2, 3. And during this 3 valve conduction, which is there for U degrees, during this overlap angle, this 1, 2, 3 conduction takes place during overlap angle U. This is the mathematical expression for valve current I3. And once the commutation is over, at the end of commutation, I will write here, at the end of commutation. That means once the commutation is over, valve 1 has completely transferred current to valve 3. So omega t is equal to alpha plus U. Because if commutation starts from alpha, it lasts from alpha to alpha plus U. It has started from alpha, it ends at alpha plus U. Total angle is alpha plus U minus alpha, that is U, that is overlap angle. So that means at the end of commutation, when commutation overlap is over, that is omega t equal to alpha plus U. What is your value current? Let me draw it again for your reference. This is your U. This is alpha and this instant is alpha plus U. At alpha, valve 3 was fired and commutation between 1 and 3 took place, and this gives your 3 valve conduction, 1, 2, 3. At the end of commutation, when commutation is over, this is your I3 equal to ID, and previously I1 was equal to ID, and during commutation I1 plus I3 is equal to ID. And at the end of commutation overlap, that is at the end of commutation, that is at omega t equal to alpha plus U, what is your I3 valve current? It is equal to load current, because valve 1 is now completely off. It has transferred all the current to valve 3. So I can write I3 is equal to ID. So that means at the end of commutation, that is at omega t equal to alpha plus U, I3 is equal to ID. So I can substitute that in this equation. Therefore, I3, what is I3 at the end of commutation? It is ID. So I3, I will substitute ID for I3. ID is equal to IS3 times cos alpha minus cos omega t. What is omega t? Omega t is alpha plus u. Alpha plus u. Fine. Now I can further simplify this. I will write id is equal to is3 cos alpha minus is3 cos of alpha plus u. If I take this is3 cos alpha plus u on this side, so I will get is3 cos of alpha plus u is equal to is3 cos alpha minus id. This will give me cos alpha plus u. So cos of alpha plus u is equal to, so it will be is3 cos alpha divided by is3, be like this, is3 cos alpha divided by is3 minus id by is3. So that will give me cos of alpha plus u equal to is3 and is3 goes, so I get cos alpha minus id by is3, id by is3. So this is cos alpha. Actually, in this equation, I want to remove this u because it is very difficult to find commutation overlap angle. U overlap angle is very, very difficult to find. So let us try to get rid of this u. So for that purpose, what I did, I wrote the equation for value current I3, and from that equation, I got cos of alpha plus u. So I can substitute cos of alpha plus u here in equation 1. So that will, eliminate the presence of u. U will be over. So therefore, I will write here, therefore from equation 1, what we get? Therefore from equation 1, we have, what do we have? We have Vd, that is converter average output voltage, is equal to Vd naught by 2 times cos alpha plus u. What is cos alpha plus u? We have just now got it. It is cos alpha minus id by is3. Fine. So this is further equal to Vd naught by 2 cos alpha plus cos alpha is 2 cos alpha minus id by is3. So this is further equal to Vd naught by 2 okay, Vd naught by 2 into 2 cos alpha minus Vd naught by 2 into id by is3. I have multiplied both terms by Vd naught by 2, this term as well as this term. So this gives me 2 and 2 goes. This gives me Vd naught cos alpha minus, if I write this id like this, then I write Vd naught by 2 is3 like this. This is my Vd. Let me call this equation as equation 2. Now, in this equation 2, let me take this term, Vd naught by 2 is3. You already know what is Vd naught. Few moments back, we have derived the mathematical expression for converter average output voltage, and we have written Vd is equal to Vd naught by 2 times cos alpha plus u, and Vd naught is 3 root 3 em by pi. So this Vd naught is 3 root 3 em by pi divided by 2 into, what is is3? is3 also we have just few moments back we have derived the mathematical expression for value current I3 equal to is3 times cos alpha minus cos omega t. So is3, what is is3? If you remember, it is root 3 em by 2 omega l. You can just check it. Just few moments back we got these equations. We got this equation, this expression for Vd naught, and this is the expression for is3. So if you simplify it, so this will be 3 root 3 em by pi into, this will go up, 2 omega l will go up, divided by 2 into root 3 into em. So this 2 and 2 goes, root 3 goes, em goes. So this gives 3 by pi omega L. So that is equal to 3 by pi into xc. This omega L we can, omega into L we can write as xc, where what is this xc? Where xc is equal to omega into L, that is equal to 2 pi fL, and it is called equivalent commutation reactance. Equivalent commutation reactance. Fine. So therefore, I can substitute in equation 2 Vd naught by 2is3, which is here. So therefore, from equation 2, converter average output voltage Vd is equal to Vd naught cos alpha, that is first term, minus Id times Vd naught by 2is3. And what is Vd naught by 2is3? It is 3 by pi into xc. So this can be written as Vd naught cos alpha minus 3 by pi xc into Id. And this can be further written as Vd naught cos alpha minus Rc into Id, where what is Rc? Rc is equal to 3 by pi into xc. This 3 by pi into xc I have replaced, I have denoted it by Rc, and this Rc is called equivalent commutation resistance. Equivalent commutation resistance. So therefore, finally, my mathematical expression for converter acting as a rectifier is this: Vd is equal to Vd naught cos alpha minus Rc Id. Very important equation. We know converter average output voltage without commutation overlap. I will write here without commutation overlap. I mean, if there is no source inductance considered and there is no commutation overlap. Without commutation overlap means U equal to 0 degree. What is converter average output voltage? We already know that is Vd naught cos alpha, and that is 3 root 3 Em by pi cos alpha. This is already known to us for two valve conduction. But with commutation overlap and in mode 1, that is U less than 60 degrees, my converter average output voltage is not Vd naught cos alpha, it is Vd naught cos alpha minus Rc into Id. And this Rc into Id is voltage drop, it is a resistive voltage drop. Actually, there is no resistance, which drops the voltage. This is the equivalent. What is this Rc? I have written here, it is equivalent commutation resistance. Because of commutation overlap, you already know your load voltage is not the segments of line voltage. For U, it is minus 1.5 or plus 1.5 times phase voltage, and then for 60 degrees minus U, it is line voltage. Then again, it is 1.5 times phase voltage, line voltage. 1.5 times phase voltage, line voltage. And during U, your load voltage drops from line voltage to minus 1.5 or plus 1.5 times phase voltage. So there is a drop in the voltage. And in the electrical equivalent circuit, that drop in the voltage is taken care of by a parameter called Rc. Rc is resistance. We already know that resistance always drops voltage. When transmission line current flows, it drops the voltage Id into Rc. Voltage drop through resistance is Id into Rc. Now this is not a physical resistance actually there. This resistance Rc basically represents the loss of voltage due to commutation overlap, because your voltage during U is not line voltage segment. It is minus 1.5 times some phase voltage or plus 1.5 times some phase voltage. During overlap periods, your converter output voltage decreases from line voltage to phase voltage, 1.5 times phase voltage. And in the electrical equivalent circuit, that is taken care of, that is shown by this resistance, as if there is an equivalent commutation resistance which drops the voltage Id into Rc. So therefore, the loss of voltage because of commutation overlap in the electrical equivalent circuit is shown by this voltage drop, which takes place through a fictitious resistance, an imaginary resistance. And what is this imaginary resistance equal to? This is 3 by pi xc, and it is called equivalent commutation resistance. So the loss of voltage due to commutation overlap in the electrical equivalent circuit is taken care of. It is shown like this. So your converter average output voltage is Vd is equal to Vd naught cos alpha minus voltage drop or voltage loss due to commutation overlap, that is RC into ID. So therefore the rectifier electrical equivalent circuit can be shown like this. So the electrical equivalent circuit is like this. Plus minus. This is Vd naught cos alpha. This is equivalent commutation resistance RC, and this is transmission line current or DC side current ID. And this is your converter average output voltage Vd. Now you can see average output voltage is not Vd naught cos alpha. It is Vd naught cos alpha minus this drop. So Vd is equal to Vd naught cos alpha minus ID RC, exactly as given by this equation. So this RC is converter equivalent commutation resistance. The loss of voltage is taken care of in electrical equivalent circuit by this equivalent commutation resistance. And the voltage drop across it is ID into RC, so that your average output voltage is Vd naught cos alpha minus this drop minus ID RC. So it is Vd naught cos alpha minus RC ID. So this gives electrical equivalent circuit of our converter in rectification mode. Let us now try to find electrical equivalent circuit of another converter which may be operating at another converting station and working as an inverter. Now we will try to develop electrical equivalent circuit of inverter, another converter which is operating as an inverter. Now I will again write here for rectifier or for rectification mode. Just few moments back we have derived the mathematical expression for converter average output voltage. Vd is equal to Vd naught cos alpha minus RC ID. Just few moments back we have derived. So for rectification mode, I will use subscript R. R stands for rectification. So VDR is equal to VDOR cos alpha minus RC ID. So therefore for inversion mode, VDI converter average output voltage, I subscript means inverter, R means rectifier, I means inverter. So it is equal to minus VDOI cos alpha minus RC ID. Same equation but minus, because inverter output voltage is opposite to rectifier output voltage. Okay, so VDI is equal to minus times VDOI cos alpha minus RC ID. Now let me draw the waveform for commutation voltage of value 3. EBA, we already know, we always take it as reference. What is EBA? It is the commutation voltage of value 3. Let us suppose since our converter is operating in the inversion mode of operation, so alpha will be greater than 90 degrees. So let us suppose this is alpha. You can see alpha is greater than 90 degrees, so your converter is operating as inverter in inversion mode. And then this is U, for example. This may be U, overlap angle, U. And what is this angle? You already know it is gamma, extinction angle. Value 3 is fired here. You fire value 3 here. And 1, 2, 3 values conduct. And there is commutation between 1 and 3. And the 3 value conduction occurs during this U. And once the commutation is over, then again you have 2 value conduction. 1, 2, 3 will be followed by 2, 3. And this gamma is extinction angle. It is the time period during which reverse voltage is applied across outgoing value 1. And I have already told you that for avoiding the commutation failure, this gamma should be 10 to 15 degrees. In one of the previous earlier lectures, I have already explained. Now this is alpha is firing angle or delay angle, U is overlap angle, and gamma is extinction angle. This U plus gamma is called beta. This is called beta. So what is beta? Beta is U plus gamma. It is overlap angle plus extinction angle. Now what is this alpha? You can see what is alpha from here. Alpha is total angle is pi minus beta, isn't it? Alpha is here to here, it is pi minus beta. If from pi you subtract beta, you get alpha. So substituting here, therefore VDI is equal to minus times VDOI cos alpha. Alpha is pi minus beta minus RCID. Okay, now you must remember that cos of pi minus theta, this trigonometric identity cos of pi minus theta is minus cos theta. So therefore cos of pi minus beta is equal to minus cos beta. So substituting it here, so you get VDI is equal to minus times VDOI. So it is cos of pi minus beta. Cos of pi minus beta is minus cos beta. So I will write this minus here, cos beta minus RCID. Fine. So this will give finally inverter average output voltage equal to minus into minus is plus. It is VDOI cos beta minus into minus is again plus RCID. So this is inverter average output voltage. And this will give me electrical equivalent circuit of converter operating as inverter. Let me draw electrical equivalent circuit. So my electrical equivalent circuit will be like this. This is equivalent commutational resistance RC, line current is ID. This is the voltage, this is VDOI cos beta. And this is VDI. So you can see from this equation, what is VDI? It is VDOI cos beta plus this drop. So VDI is VDOI cos beta plus this drop. So VDI is IDRC plus VDOI cos beta. So this gives electrical equivalent circuit of converter operating in the inversion mode. In terms of beta, can we obtain the electrical equivalent circuit in terms of gamma, that is extinction angle? Yes, that is also possible. Let us try to find that. I will again write VDI is equal to VDOI cos beta plus RCID. Okay. We also know, let us call this equation as equation 1. We know converter average output voltage VD is equal to VD naught by 2 times cos alpha plus cos of alpha plus U. For inversion mode, for rectification mode it will be R, for inversion mode I, and it will be minus. Okay, for rectification mode it is plus, for inversion mode it is minus. Now I can replace this alpha and alpha plus U by beta and this. Actually what is my aim? My aim is to replace this beta by gamma. Let us see how we can do that. Now from this figure, what is alpha? Alpha is equal to pi minus beta. I have already written that here. And what is alpha plus U? See, this is your alpha, this is U. Alpha plus U is pi minus gamma. You can see total is pi minus gamma. So it is pi minus gamma. Substituting in this, therefore inverter average output voltage is equal to minus VDOI by 2 cos of alpha. Alpha is pi minus beta plus cos of alpha plus U. Alpha plus U is pi minus gamma. So VDI is equal to minus VDOI by 2. What is cos of pi minus beta? That is minus cos beta. And what is cos of pi minus gamma? That is minus cos gamma. Right? So therefore this will give me VDI is equal to minus, see minus, I will take out minus and minus becomes plus. So this is VDOI by 2 times cos beta plus cos gamma. Let us further simplify it. We are here. So from this, VDI is equal to, this is VDOI cos beta plus cos gamma by 2. So if you take this 2 up, this is 2. So this will give you 2 VDI is equal to VDOI cos beta plus cos gamma. So this will give me VDOI cos beta is equal to 2 VDI minus cos gamma. The idea is to replace this beta by gamma. So we are slowly moving towards that. Okay. So from this I can find cos beta is equal to 2 VDI by VDOI minus cos gamma by VDOI. So this is my cos beta. So substituting this value of cos beta in equation 1. So I will write here, therefore from equation 1, I have successfully replaced this beta by gamma. See, there is no beta in this equation, only gamma is there. So I will write from equation 1, what do we get? We get inverter average output voltage is equal to VDOI cos beta. Now cos beta is this, 2 VDI by VDOI minus cos gamma by VDOI plus RCID. Let us try to simplify it further. Further simplification will give VDI is equal to C. You multiply this here, VDOI goes, so you get 2 VDI. Okay. Similarly, this VDI and VDOI, this goes minus cos gamma this is outside plus RCID. Okay. So this is VDI. So you take this VDI also on this side. So this will be VDI minus 2 VDI is equal to minus cos gamma plus RCID. What is VDI minus 2 VDI? It is minus VDI itself. So minus VDI, that is inverter average output voltage, is equal to minus cos gamma plus RCID. So this means inverter average output voltage is equal to cos gamma minus RCID. That's all. So this will give me inverter average output voltage, not in terms of beta, but in terms of gamma. And therefore, once you have got it in terms of gamma, so you can now draw the electrical equivalent circuit. Equivalent circuit will be like this. Plus minus. This is VDOI. Actually, this should have been VDOI cos gamma. Sorry. VDOI term is missing there. Here also it is VDOI cos gamma. So this is VDOI cos gamma and this is your VDI. This is ID. This is minus RC now. Okay. See, your current cannot be minus. In HVDC transmission system, current is always positive. There is no minus ID has no meaning. When current is flowing, it is constant. It is always positive. Okay. So, but here in the equation, I have minus RC into ID. So therefore, RC, since ID is positive, so RC has to be negative. So therefore, your VDI is minus RCID plus VDOI cos gamma. So VDOI cos gamma minus RCID. That's it. So this is another electrical equivalent circuit of converter operating in the inversion mode, but in terms of gamma. The first one, which you have drawn few moments back, that was in terms of cos beta. And there, you know, VDI was given as VDOI cos beta plus RCID. And electrical equivalent circuit was like this, RC RC positive RC ID plus minus. This was VDOI cos beta, and this was plus minus VDI. So these are two different electrical equivalent circuits of converter operating in inversion mode. One is in terms of beta, another is in terms of gamma, and the governing equations, modeling equations in terms of beta are VDI is equal to VDOI cos beta plus RCID, so you get electrical equivalent circuit in terms of cos beta. And in terms of gamma, your equation is VDI is equal to VDOI cos gamma minus RCID, and the electrical equivalent circuit in terms of cos gamma is this one. So therefore, we have obtained the electrical equivalent circuit of converter operating in rectification mode, and also for another converter which is operating in the inversion mode. Therefore, we can draw now the complete electrical equivalent circuit of HVDC system. So I can write here equivalent circuit for complete HVDC system. And it will look like this. See carefully, this is my converter transformer with online tap changing. This is VDOR cos alpha. This is RCR. This is RL. This is current ID, transmission line current ID. This is RCI. I will explain it in a minute's time. Please bear with me. This is plus minus. This is VDOI cos beta. We can represent it in terms of gamma also. And this is your tap changing, online tap changing converter transformer. This is VDR and this is VDI. So this is the equivalent circuit, complete equivalent circuit of the whole HVDC system. This is your rectifier equivalent circuit. This is inverter equivalent circuit, and this RL is the transmission line resistance. Okay, so this station is your rectification station, rectifier station, and you are supplying your converter through converter transformer with online tap changing. Similarly, in the inverting station, you have converter transformer with online tap changing. So this is your if you remember your rectifier for rectifier station, for rectification mode, average output voltage VDR is equal to VDOR cos alpha plus minus RCID. And just few moments back, you have drawn this equivalent circuit for rectification operation. This is VDOR cos alpha. This is RC and this is ID. And this is your VD, that is converter average output voltage, VDR. So this is your rectifier. This is VDOR cos alpha, VDOR cos alpha. This is RC, equivalent commutational resistance. Subscript R means for rectifier. So this is RCR. And this is your VDR. What is your VDR? It is VDOR cos alpha minus IC minus ID RC. That's it. So this is your rectifier equivalent circuit. Now go to the inverter. For inverter, the equation is VDI is equal to VDOI cos beta plus RCI ID. And if you remember, you have drawn it few moments back. This is RC and this is ID, and this is plus minus. This is VDOI cos beta, and this is VDI. This equation, modeling equation, I am representing in terms of its electrical equivalent circuit. VDI is equal to VDOI cos beta plus RCID. this is it. This is RCI, equivalent commutation resistance for inversion mode. So this is VDI, this is RCI carrying current ID, and this is VDOI cos beta. So this is the electrical equivalent circuit for inverter. So this is the electrical equivalent circuit for converter operating in the rectification mode. This is the electrical equivalent circuit for converter operating in the inversion mode. And other station, this is converting station, this is inverting station, and this is the transmission line resistance. Therefore, transmission line current is given by ID is equal to VDOR cos alpha minus VDOI cos beta by RCR plus RL plus RCI. What is this current? It is this voltage minus this voltage divided. What is this voltage? VDOR cos alpha. And what is the voltage on the other side? VDOI cos beta. So VDOR cos alpha minus VDOI cos beta. The difference of two voltages divided by total resistance. Total resistance is equivalent rectifier commutation resistance, rectifier side equivalent commutation resistance, plus inverter side equivalent commutation resistance, plus RL, transmission line resistance. So therefore, transmission line current is given by this equation. So this equation we got only when we had the electrical equivalent circuit of complete HVDC system comprising of converting station, inverting station, and the line. This is the benefit of obtaining electrical equivalent circuit of any system, in this case HVDC, complete HVDC transmission system, and it gives us the mathematical expression for this transmission line current, and it gives us an idea about how we can maintain, because I told you that in classical HVDC transmission systems, when the system is operating, this line current is always maintained constant. So our aim, when you design the controller, you have to design controller in such a way that this transmission line current is always maintained constant. So this equation will give you how to design your controller, because it tells you that if there is a change in beta, you have to bring a corresponding change in alpha so that this ID is maintained constant. Similarly, if there is a change in alpha, your controller has to bring a corresponding equivalent change in beta so that this ID remains constant. So this is about electrical equivalent circuit of complete HVDC transmission system, and a very important equation. This equation we will be using in future when we discuss about the control techniques or controllers for HVDC power transmission systems. So therefore, summarizing what we have learned in today's lecture is, first of all, we tried to, in previous lecture, we have drawn the waveform for converter output voltage and value voltage for both rectification mode of operation and inversion mode of operation. And we found that there is a loss of voltage because of commutation overlap. And because during this overlap period, the load voltage is not line voltage segment, it is the segment of minus 1.5 times some phase voltage or plus 1.5 times phase voltage. So there is a drop in the voltage. So therefore, converter average output voltage cannot be governed by same equation as we had derived few lectures back for two value conduction, considering U equal to 0. Here U is not 0. You have a source inductance, and because of that U is there, commutation overlap is there. So therefore, in today's lecture, first of all, we derived the mathematical expression for converter average output voltage considering U, that is commutation overlap. And what was that mathematical expression for converter average output voltage? That was VD is equal to 3√3m by 2 pi times cos alpha plus U, or VD is equal to VD naught by 2 times cos alpha plus U, where VDO is 3√3m by pi. So this U term is there, and for same parameters, same input voltage, same peak voltage, and same firing angle, same delay angle, you can find that with commutation overlap, the average output voltage is slightly less than without commutation overlap. Then we derived mathematical expressions for value currents during commutation overlap. During three value conduction, we derived the mathematical expression for I1 and I3, and we tried to draw those waveforms, and we found that during commutation overlap, when commutation between an outgoing value, say value 1, and incoming value, value 3, takes place, the current in outgoing value does not drop linearly like this. It does not drop in a straight line manner like this. It drops sinusoidally. Similarly, the current in the incoming value 3 increases sinusoidally. And finally, we tried to develop the electrical equivalent circuit models for HVDC converters. We have two converters, one operating at rectifier station as rectifier and another at inverting station as inverter. And we developed the electrical equivalent circuit for both. This is the modeling equation for converter operating as a rectifier, and this is the electrical equivalent circuit for rectifier, for converter operating in rectification mode. And this is the modeling equation and corresponding electrical equivalent circuit of converter operating in inversion mode. And combining the two, we then tried to draw electrical equivalent circuit of complete HVDC transmission system, and that is this. And from this, we got a very important equation for DC line current or transmission line current ID, which is equal to VDR cos alpha minus VDI cos beta, whole divided by RCR plus RL plus RCI, where RL is transmission line resistance. And this equation will be very helpful to us for designing the controller, because the job of controller is to maintain this ID, line current always constant. So I will stop my today's lecture here. Please go through the lecture and try to analyze the circuits, the electrical equivalent circuits. Try to learn. In case of any doubts, any queries, you can get connected to me and ask your doubts, ask your queries. Inshallah, in our next lecture, we will consider other modes of commutation overlap. That's mode 2 and then mode 3. With this, I end my today's lecture. Thank you.